Hi, everybody, and welcome to Tea Time episode 107. It is now officially August, which is hard to believe. In terms of the summer months, August is my favorite because whether this is seen as a good thing or a bad thing, I enjoy the change of the season from the real humid heat into the slightly cooler weather of fall. And August really starts to usher that in, even though the beginning of August in particular can still be very hot. That's okay. It's just because it's the month before we get all of that fall goodness. I like it. And it's just, to me, a relaxing month with the back to school things starting to become more prominent, and I really like it. July is crazy, crazy, crazy busy for me with dancing, and so I'm about to talk about that in a minute and what's happening. And so August is just a welcome respite from all of that. So that's what I've been thinking about in these early August days. What else has been happening with me? Yesterday, August 2nd, was actually my parents' wedding anniversary. They've been married for 48 years, so I was just saying to my sister that in a couple of years, we're going to have some party planning. Actually, before that, we're going to have some party planning so that we can celebrate when it's 50 years. So yeah, time flies. So it's been a lovely little spell. We're going to be going out to dinner with them and have that coming up. I'm looking forward to it. But all right, so the big thing that has been going on with me has been dancing stuff. So we'll talk about that today. So I mentioned this in my post on Tuesday, just like a quick, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to post on Tuesday because I had a lot of things going on at work. With it being August now, this semester classes begin here August 28th, and so we're now getting close, and so we're doing lots of planning and lessons and gearing up, and so I had a lot more interruptions with my writing, which is okay. I expected that. I'm so close to being done, and so I'm just trying to power through so I can get everything done before classes start. So Tuesday was a busy day, and I wasn't sure, but I was able to eke out something quickly over my lunch that just kind of touched the highlights. I'll link to that in the show notes, but I could give you, I guess, all of the dirt while we chat here with our tea. I actually haven't gotten my hot water yet, which is a travesty. I need to go down and get that because I really need tea this morning. So last weekend was my big epic dancing weekend, and the way that this went down is that on Friday evening, my troupe had been hired to perform at a wedding. And this is the first wedding that we've ever done as a group. It's the first wedding I've done at all, period. Although our troupe directors have danced at weddings before, but they've danced solo. So we were all real nervous. And so they were going to be balancing. So one had a candle tray and the other had the traditional wedding balance item that you see belly dancers using at weddings, which is the shamadan. It's a candelabra, and as you can imagine, this is something to behold, just this big tall tier of candles that you balance on your head. And I do a lot of balancing in terms of the other members of our troupe. I'm kind of the balancing person. That's my thing. And so I balance sword a lot. I have balanced a tray with flowers, but I've never used actual candles, and I've never been able to successfully balance the shamadan. It's a totally different type of feel, and so I just never mastered that. I haven't tried in a while, but I should probably try again, but it's very intimidating to me. So we all get there on Friday. We're going to be using our big iridescent wings for the entrance with the bride and groom, and then our directors had the candle tray, and the candelabra. And so we get ready. Everybody's very nervous, and we have this procession, and the ballroom was smaller than we were envisioning, and so there's a lot of us now. I think there's 11 of us in total, and so it was very tight space-wise for the entrance in particular because we all had those larger props or were balancing dangerous things. So we did our little thing with the wings, and then there just wasn't space in the way that we had intended for us to be able to exit so that the bride and groom could be escorted out with the fire. So that was a little dicey. I could tell that, we had just this very short thing that we were going to, with just a couple of movements with the wings in a circle, and then we were going to be exiting. And I could tell that the circle was going on a lot longer than I knew it should, but that's what everybody else was doing. And when you're in a group, you just got to, the best thing to do if you can is to do what everybody else, so it looks like it's going according to plan. So everybody was still doing their travel step. So I did, we changed directions, and again, we're going on way longer than should have. And the person that was supposed to exit realized that there was just no room for us to exit, and she didn't want to have all of us go by in our wings with everybody balancing fire on the other side and risk having something very bad happen. And so we had to just improvise something right there in the moment. It was a little dicey. It was a little dicey, but everybody loved the entrance, the guests. Everybody was like, oh, because it was very pretty. But it was a little more stressful than we were hoping for. So we did that, and then, we had, I think 4 group pieces that we were doing interspersed with our directors dancing beautiful solo pieces. Claire danced a Saidi piece, which is with the cane that you'll see belly dancers use, and yeah, and the other was a beautiful modern Egyptian piece. And so it was a lovely mix of different types of styles, and everybody seemed to really love it. The bride and groom in particular just seemed very happy and loved the performance. This was actually a gift of one of their guests to them that we came and performed. It was really lovely. So we had a good time, but with space at venues like that, that's always what we're most nervous about, because if you don't know exactly what it looks like beforehand, and then you're in a group, if you're dancing by yourself, it isn't as big of a deal because you can just improvise it and do whatever you want, and it's just you, so it doesn't matter. But if it's a whole group and you have something planned, you all want to be doing the same thing or else it looks bad. So it was tougher because the space wasn't what we thought it would be, but we did okay. So we got that one behind us, day 1 of 3. And so I went into Saturday. It's definitely the toughest of the days for me. Sorry about my voice here. Let's do one big throat clear and hope that takes care of the problem. So Saturday was not too humid. The weather was really nice. It was sunny though. We were going to be doing 2 different types of sets at the art festival. This is all outdoors, so we were going to be doing very informal, what they called pop-ups throughout the festival grounds, just dancing on the street for a couple hours, and then there was an hour or so break, and then we were going to be dancing on the stage where the main performances were taking place. And we had an hour and a half set on there. Not just us, we had some other groups dancing with us, African American group, and Colombian dance, and the ballroom dancers were there, and I think that was it. But we have our group. There's another performance group at our studio that does belly dance, and so we had a good number of things to fill the time. So but it was a long afternoon, and even though it wasn't really humid, being out in the sun and then dancing on the street, it got really hot, so you still just get really sweaty. And the street was just, it went really well. It's like everybody really loved it. That was around like, oh, people were watching. Everybody loved it, but the surface was uneven, and so it didn't feel particularly safe. We were on a slanted section at one point, and it was difficult to turn and keep your balance. So I didn't really like the sensation of dancing on that surface, but it did go well. I just was very careful with my turns. It was just the pithiest turns I've ever done with the hair flip because I was afraid of falling. But I made it. Hare and I made it. But oh my gosh, I was just, luckily you can see watching the video, my hair is long, and I also have really textured hair. I don't have like silky hair, and so if you're watching the video you can see I just did this all afternoon. So we would dance and then I would do this. I can actually put my hair up in a bun and it stays without having to have a hair clip or a hair tie because of its textured nature. So there you go. That really helped me out a lot. I had to get it up off of my neck because otherwise it was just you just get really gross. It was so sweaty. So we were dancing, and the other belly dance group was dancing. I think I just hit the microphone. I'm sorry for the audio listeners. And so yeah, it went good. We were all tired though, and being out in the sun makes you even more tired. So leading up to the stage show, we all just tried to get a little bit more energy. Stage was hot. Also out in the sun. We were dancing on there later than we have in previous years, so the surface really heated up, which was really bad for the African American dancers because they were dancing barefoot. So that was challenging. Our numbers went good. It was kind of slippery on there, but not in a bad way. That made for really good hair flipping turns, so that worked out well. But changing when you're dancing outside and you're all sweaty, it's not really a pleasant thing because you're just sticky. And so taking on, putting on different costumes, changing them out, it's not really a pleasant experience at the art festival, unfortunately. But we did what we could, and it went good. But then I had the birthday party later in the evening, and that's what I was most nervous about. My stomach was just a wreck all day. Aren't you so glad you know all this? Just butterflies. And so went home. Mike and the kids had come to the festival, which was nice. I went home and spent a few hours with them, had dinner, and then I had to get ready. And I was nervous. I was really, 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 really nervous. And so I was dancing with one other dancer. One whose birthday it was wanted two dancers. So her and her boyfriend came to get me, and she wasn't feeling good, my partner. And I could tell as soon as I got in the car. She just looked pale, and it had been a really long dancing day. And it's very easy to get dehydrated when you're dancing outside. Even though you're drinking water, it's just often you underestimate how much you need. And so I could tell she just did not feel good. And so I was like, let's open up some windows and see if you feel better. So we were just hoping she would feel better by the time we got to the restaurant, and she really, really wasn't. And so we were super early. We just hung out in the car a little bit, just hoping that she was going to feel better. And she never did. And so what we ended up doing is, she texted the woman whose party we were going to be dancing at, apologizing, just letting her know she was really ill. I mean, what are you going to do? It's life. But that I would, still be able to perform, and so that I would be right in. All right, so this is my face. I have danced by myself many times before, and I have gone by myself to gigs. Only one time, but I had done it before. But I wasn't expecting to do that, so that added a little bit of a new stress layer onto the situation. And so her boyfriend was there, and so I asked if he would go in with me, because it is helpful to have somebody with you so they can take care of the music, and you don't have to worry about any of that. And that, he could take care of sword and things like that. And so he graciously came in with me. And this was like a really big, nice birthday party. There was a photographer there and all kinds of beautiful decorations and a DJ. And so I came in and I introduced myself to the birthday woman. And she's very nice. I explained the situation. She's, oh, great, I'm glad you're here. And whenever you're ready. Okay, I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be. And so Jacob took care of the music, and he had sword at the ready. And so there I was. I had to just go out there. I didn't want to, but I did. And the guests did not know that she had hired a belly dancer. So it was a surprise, and everybody was very surprised. And I got a very welcome and lovely reception. Everybody was excited. This is something very different from what they usually see. And there was plenty of space, which was nice. So I made my rounds, and I was dancing the set I had planned, and then I tacked on the drum solo that we were going to be dancing together, Mackenzie and I, that I would just do myself. So it was about 15 minutes. So I danced around. And yeah, so it went fine. I was sweating, but it went fine. And I invited a few women up to dance with me, and you get about, I would have thought it would be more like a 70% rejection rate. On Saturday night, it was actually more about 50. It really wasn't, it was much more than I expected. Much more were willing to do so. This is one of those things. I was most nervous about this when I started doing these types of professional gigs. I did not want to ask anybody. I'm an introvert. I don't want to talk to strangers. And in this situation, I'm already really, really nervous. But this is what is expected. This is a party, and you want the atmosphere to be really upbeat, and inviting guests up to dance with you gets everybody into it, and just really keeps the energy level high. And so this is like something that I had to adjust to doing, and so I managed it on New Year's Eve. It went really well. And so I was like, okay. So the first woman I asked, was like, oh no. And like, no, I never, I mean, this would never be part of my personality anyway. I would never put pressure on anybody to do that. You just issue the invitation with your hands. And if they don't want to, it's like, just move along. And so I had done the periphery. And so there was the woman I thought might want to dance with me that didn't want to. And then other people that were very much like enjoying, but did not look like they would want to get up and dance. And so I kind of like squeezed my way into the center with the tables, and there was some women in there that were kind of dancing in their chairs. That's always the sign that you should go over there and ask them to dance. And they did. They accepted. So they got up, and I realized this is a wonderful thing. It takes the pressure off of me for a couple of minutes. So I danced with them for a few minutes, and then, I applaud them. They sit back down, and the birthday woman had disappeared for a few minutes doing something else. And so she had come back, and I went over and asked her if she didn't want to. I was like, okay. But by then it was like near the end of my set, and I was like, thank God. I had to take Sword out. Jacob brought him over, and the photographer's like snapping all these pictures. It was like paparazzi. Got Sword on my head, and he did well. Sword and I have come to a happy compromise situation with getting him balanced. We have found the sweet spot, and so that went good. Everybody was like, ooh, that's what everybody always says when Sword comes out. Everybody always loves that. So that went good, but I was glad to, balance him at a couple different parts of the room and give him back to Jacob. And then I just continued dancing. I was now at the drum solo, and at this point, like, I was really ready to be done. And, people are like needing to get up and use the restroom and stuff. And so it's like, okay, we're going to wrap this up. 2-minute drum solo. I was a mess when I finished. I had danced outside all day, and I was not as sweaty as I was at the end, because I think when you're dancing by yourself, you're just giving 100% of your effort because all eyes are on you. And so it just takes everything you have. And so I gave it everything I had, and it went really well. Finished up, went and said happy birthday to the woman whose party it was, and she was very appreciative, really enjoyed the performance. It went really well. So I hurried back over. Jacob helped me pack everything up. I breathed a huge sigh of relief when we went back outside. We went back and checked on our other dancer that we were very worried about. She looked okay, just pale. I think she was just very dehydrated. She just felt really nauseous, and you just can't dance if you feel like that because you're afraid of what could happen. So I got home, took a shower, very needed, and got ready for Sunday. And so we had the art festival on Sunday, same thing that we had done on Saturday. The pop-up dances and then the stage show was much hotter on Sunday, so it was a lot less pleasant, but it went really good. Our audience on Sunday was even better than on Saturday, and I really noticed we were dancing, and I look out on the stage where you can see everybody really well, and I just saw huge smiles on people's faces, and I saw some people tapping their feet or otherwise kind of moving their shoulders along with the music, and it just, even though I don't like dancing outside, if I'm being honest, just because of the sweat factor and the wind and the sun and all of this, the festivals draw people in to see cultural dance that they wouldn't otherwise see, and just to see people enjoying it and just loving the performance just put a huge smile on my face. So it was a really, really, really good day. And the studio that I come from really takes seriously that we are properly representing Egyptian dance, that we are always describing the exact type of Egyptian dance that we are doing, or other type of dance from the Middle East and the cultural roots and what it all signifies and what it all means, having appropriate costuming for the type of music and just appropriate costuming, generally speaking. And I really think that it helps to clear up a lot of misconceptions that people have about what Americans call belly dance. And just to see people reacting in such a positive way. Claire had tons of people come up to her after the show asking when we were going to be performing again, that they loved it, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So we had a good day. I have never, though, been so happy to finish up a performance weekend because I was exhausted, and I still am recovering, but it was a really good experience. So that was my weekend. That was everything. It was fun, but I'm glad to have a break now. All right, so big dancing weekend. Moving on to what's on my bookshelf. I'm still reading Harry Potter, and I'm still reading The Well, and it's our next week, and I'm so sad. Kevin had mentioned that in his comment. He said that the book is coming to an end because the book club has just been a lovely experience. So we'll be doing more, Kevin, no worries, but I'm sad too that this particular summer book club is coming to an end because it's been going so well. But on my bookshelf this week, on April 1st, downloaded to my Kindle that I had pre-ordered a book called Dark Horse by B.J. Daniels. This is an author who is from Montana. She writes all kinds of romantic suspense that is set in Montana. She is a wonderful suspense writer. This is not inspirational fiction, it's just secular romantic suspense, but she does a wonderful job. I always love her books. This is the first book in a new series called White Horse, Montana, the McGraw Kidnapping, about, I think, a 25-year-old kidnapping that has never been solved. And she does just such a beautiful job with the setting and with the mystery. I always love her work. And so this being the first of a new trilogy, I pre-ordered all 3 books, and so they're coming out August 1st, September 1st, October 1st. And so, like I said, this book is called Dark Horse. Book 1 just came out on August 1st. I have a link here in the show notes. Prayer Corner. I was switching out my planner for the new academic year, and I came across a morning offering I had tucked in there, and I thought, I need to pray this every morning before I teach. This is the morning offering that I have. O Jesus, through the Immaculate Heart of Mary, I offer you my prayers, works, joys, and sufferings of this day, for all the intentions of your Sacred Heart, in union with the holy sacrifice of the Mass throughout the world, in reparation for my sins, and for the intentions of all my friends and relatives, and in particular, for the intentions of the Holy Father this month. Amen. That's lovely, isn't it? I tucked it right into the front so that I can pray that every morning. Do you have a morning offering that you pray? Love a link in the comments. I have this link in the show notes. My Creative Commons, I just have a picture. I had mentioned this Downton Abbey shawl that I'm crocheting for a friend for Christmas. I had linked to the pattern in the past week or two, but I have a new updated picture in the show notes of my progress. Very, very variegated, but the shawl is intended to be crocheted in a variegated yarn. It's not blocked yet, so it all tends to kind of go in here. And so you can't fully see the pattern, you just see all the beautiful colors. But when I block it, it's going to all come to life. So I will definitely post a finished photo when I'm done. But right now you can see that I have the center medallion done. And I'm now working on the netting that's going to go along one wing. And then, of course, I will do the second wing. And then you do a border around the whole shebang. This is coming along really, really well. So that's it for this week. What's going on with you? If you have some links to morning offerings, I'd love that. Don't forget too that we'd like to do an Advent book club coming up in November. Plenty of time, but I don't have any ideas for books. So please write in with your suggestions. And for Lent and Easter 2018, we're going to be continuing on with the Living Water series that we are reading book 1 of right now. The Well, we will be reading The Thief in the Tomb. So that'll be coming up next year. So still some time for that. But in the meantime, Advent, if you have any ideas for the Advent book club, please write in. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. I will talk to you next week, and I'm looking forward to it. Write me some comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye.